Hi, my name is Brenda Villalobos. I'm part of the team 15 and also editor of this video. In this video, we're going to talk about corruption in the tourism administration. The first one, manipulation of information and digital disinformation on the second one, political and commercial campaigns. And the third one is unsustainable tourism on high cultural and ecological value zones. With anything more to say, I'm going to leave you with my partners who will tell you further and give you more information about these problematics and some solutions that we find in our group.
My name is Barbara Serrano, and I will be explaining the context surrounding these social issues. First, the corruption in public tourist administration. When trust in government is broken, communities suffer. Tourists feel unsafe, businesses lose income, and jobs disappear. Worse, scandals leave destinations with a damaged reputation that's hard to recover from. And that's not all. There's also the problem of misinformation in political and commercial campaigns, but whether it is in politics or advertising, twisting the truth manipulates people instead of empowering them. It makes democracy weaker and creates this unfair gap between those who know the truth and those who don't. And finally, unsustainable tourism. Picture this: too many visitors in one place, trash filling up, and local culture being treated like a checklist for selfies. It puts pressure on the environment and the community. And over time, the very things that make a destination special start to disappear, including the biodiversity and the ecosystems. Thanks for listening, and let's keep the conversation going so you can understand better each one of these problematics.
My name is Mariana, and I'm going to talk about why analyzing conflicts is so important in public administration, political campaigns, and tourism. When officials abuse of their positions through investment or favoritism, it breaks the trust people have in government. This goes against values like honesty and transparency, and violates laws, ultimately leads to less investment and poorer public services. In the end, it damages the foundations of a good governance. Another issue is the spread of misinformation and digital manipulation in political and commercial campaigns. Twisting the truth to influence public opinion undermines democracy and hurts values like truth and responsibility. Laws like to protect us, but when they're ignored, people lose trust and society becomes more divided. Tourism also faces ethical concerns, especially in places that are ecologically or culturally sensitive. When businesses put profits first and ignore environmental rules, the damage can be lasting, hurting both local communities and the environment. Laws like the legality are there to protect these spaces, and violating them risks long-term harm. Across all these areas, principles like transparency, justice, and respect for the law help guide better decisions and promote fairness and sustainability.
I'm Amanda Jose Leon Velez, and I'm going to be talking about point E and F. Starting with the first topic, corruption in public tourism administration, the positive actions, we have transparency in resource allocation, where we implement clear policies for tourism and fund distribution, and the stronger oversight, where we ensure audits and control mechanisms to prevent corruption. The negative actions, we have the misuse of funds, where we divert tourism resources for personal gain, and the bribery and favoritism, hiring companies based on personal relationships and not competitive bidding. Moving to the consequences, on the short term, we have greater trust in institutions and growth in tourism investment, and the long term, sustainable tourism, stronger economy, and more jobs. And ethical reflection, the positive ones and the things that motivates this is the integrity ensures resources benefit society, and the negative ones, like the excuses, is for misconduct prioritize short-term gains over long-term well-being. Now the ripple effect, the things that we have under control is that ensure compliance and improve systems, and the area of influence is that we promote responsibility but avoid indifference to corruption. Now the second topic, predatory and unsustainable tourism in ecologically sensitive areas. On the positive actions, we have the promote ecotourism, support ecotourism that respects the environment and regulate tourism impact, implement rules to protect sensitive areas. On the negative actions, we have resource exploitation and the overuse of natural resources without considering long-term effects, and the cultural destruction, developing tourism infrastructure to harm local cultures. Under consequences, the short term, we have the conservation of ecosystems and cultural heritage, and the long term, sustainable tourism, preservation of resources, and improved local well-being. Or ethical reflection can be that tourism should respect nature and culture, ensuring that resources are preserved for future generations. And we have excuses like extra-profitable short term lead to resource destruction. On the ripple effect, we have the area of control, we have the practice of sustainability in tourism personally, and the area of influence, the promote of responsible actions among tourists and businesses. Now, in our third and last topic, manipulation of information and misinformation on political and commercial campaigns, the positive actions, we have that verified information, promote fact-checking and reliable sources, and teach digital literacy, educate people on spotting fake news. The negative actions, spread misinformation, use false content to manipulate opinions, and polarize emotionally, create content to steer emotions and divide people. Now, going through our consequences, we have the positive ones on the short term, more informed citizens and more trust, and the long term, stronger democracy and resilience to information. And the negative ones on the short term, we have polarization, mistrust, and confusion, and the long term, erosion of democracy and undermined elections. Now, our reflection, the positive behavior on the ethical motivation is driven by the need to protect democracy, ensure truth, and promote accountability in all areas. And on the negative behavior, the excuses like everyone does it or it is necessary for success lead to unethical actions. The factors influencing actions, the internal are the desire for power and the lack of ethics, and the external is social pressure, competition, and weak digital regulation. Now the ripple effect, the area of control, the positive one is verifying into info and promote digital literacy at home, and the negative one is to spread rumors and share manipulated info. The area of influence, the positive one is encourage fact-based and debates and advocate for platform accountability, and the negative one is normalize misinformation and foster division.
Now, passing by the points G and H, we can analyze these three problematics by the following way. Firstly, with the problematic of corruption in public tourism administration. First, with the attitudes, we can say that it is required to have a social and ethical responsibility towards tourists and people who live there, and also have a critical thinking about problems. The skills are having a great communication and also follow correctly the procedures and rules. Then, the competences are the use of digital platforms for transparency and also having a certain control over systems. The strength include an accumulated experience in accountability policies and also having the certain ability to control different sectors at the same time, to coordinate them. And the opportunities to improve are investing training in ethics. Now we can pass to the second problematic, that is the manipulation of information and digital disinformation in political and commercial campaigns. Firstly, the attitudes are having an ethical thinking when creating content for social media and also have a critical thinking when sharing information. The skills are identifying fake news or manipulation of information and also having an effective and responsible communication. Competences are the creation of transparent information and responsibility management for this information, include an awareness of the wrong information and also social awareness of the consequences of misinformation. And finally, for this problematic, the areas of opportunities are a stronger regulation in social media towards political and advertising information. And finally, the last problem to analyze is called the predatory and sustainable tourism in high-value ecological or cultural areas. First, the attitudes are the respect for local communities and their traditions. The skills are planning tourism with a sustainable focus. Then the competences are having a management for natural resources. The strengths are the existence of international frameworks that help with natural resources. And finally, the areas of opportunities are the invest for clean energy and also the management of waste.